The Guardian of Gaza. The night was quiet, too quiet, as though the city itself held its breath. A faint whistling sound pierced the stillness, growing louder by the second. Suddenly, the ground shook violently, and the silence was shattered by a deafening explosion. Smoke rose into the moonlit sky, and screams echoed through the narrow streets of Gaza. Amidst the chaos, a lone figure moved through the rubble with unwavering determination. His name was Khalid Al-Masri, a doctor-turned-resistance fighter, and tonight he was the only thing standing between hope and despair. Once upon a time, Khalid Al-Masri was a man of healing. He spent his days in the crowded hospital of Gaza, treating the sick and injured with a steady hand and a kind heart. But that life ended 2 years ago. An airstrike destroyed his home, taking his wife, Layla, and their 2 children, Sami and Hana. Their laughter, once the music of his life, was replaced by the haunting silence of loss. Now Khalid was a man transformed by grief, his soul tempered like steel. He traded his stethoscope for a rifle, vowing to protect the innocent and honor the memory of his family. But even in the darkest nights, he carried a small reminder of his past, a silver locket containing a picture of his wife and children. It was his anchor, his reason to keep fighting. Gaza was a city under siege. Every day brought new horrors, airstrikes, shortages of food and medicine, and the endless fear that no place was truly safe. Despite this, the people endured, clinging to their faith in each other. One fateful day, Khalid received an urgent message from an informant. A major attack was planned on a hospital, the last functioning one in the city. The hospital housed hundreds of patients, including women, children, and the elderly. Losing it would be catastrophic. Khalid knew the odds were against him. The enemy forces were heavily armed and relentless. His small team of resistance fighters had little more than their courage and knowledge of the terrain. But he also knew he couldn't let fear dictate his actions. As Khalid prepared for the mission, he met Amina Hassan. Amina was a journalist who had come to Gaza to document the truth. She carried a camera like a weapon, determined to expose the atrocities to the world.
I'm coming with you,
Amina said firmly.
the world needs to see this.
Khalid hesitated.
It's dangerous. You could get killed.
And so could you.
She replied.
But if we stay silent, who will tell their story?
Her resolve mirrored his own, and together, they formed a plan to protect the hospital and its people. As night fell, Khalid and his team moved through the labyrinthine streets of Gaza. The air was heavy with tension, every shadow a potential threat. Amina followed closely, her camera capturing the raw reality of war. At one point, Khalid stopped and looked at the sky, now glowing orange from distant fires. He thought of his wife's last words.
Never lose hope, Khalid. Even in the darkest night, the stars will guide you.
Those words reignited his spirit. Turning to his team, he said,
We may be few, but we carry the hopes of many. Together we'll protect those who cannot protect themselves.
The team nodded, their faces a mixture of fear and determination. The attack came sooner than expected. The enemy forces advanced with tanks and drones, their firepower overwhelming. Khalid and his team fought valiantly, using their knowledge of the terrain to outmaneuver their opponents. Amina continued filming, even as bullets whizzed past her. In one tense moment, Khalid saw a young boy trapped in the rubble. Without hesitation, he ran through the crossfire, shielding the boy with his own body.
Stay low.
Khalid whispered, pulling the boy to safety. The boy, no older than 10, clung to Khalid's arm, his eyes wide with terror. The battle raged on, each second feeling like an eternity. Just when it seemed they couldn't hold out any longer, reinforcements arrived. Inspired by Khalid's bravery, ordinary citizens had joined the fight, armed with nothing but their courage and whatever tools they could find. Together, they pushed back the enemy, forcing them to retreat. The hospital stood, battered but unbroken, a symbol of resilience in the face of destruction. As dawn broke, the first rays of sunlight illuminated the ruins of Gaza. Khalid stood outside the hospital, his body weary but his spirit unbroken. Around him, children played amidst the rubble, their laughter a stark contrast to the devastation. Amina approached him, holding her camera.
We did it.
She said softly.
The world will see this. They'll know what happened here.
Khalid nodded, his gaze fixed on the horizon.
It's not just about what we've lost,
He said.
It's about what we're fighting to protect. As long as we have hope, we'll keep going.
In the days that followed, Amina's footage spread across the world, igniting outrage and calls for action. For the first time, the voices of Gaza's people were heard, their resilience shining through the darkness. Khalid, though scarred by his losses, found solace in knowing he had made a difference. As he walked through the streets, children ran to him, their laughter a reminder that even in the darkest times, hope can endure. He looked at the silver locket in his hand and whispered,
Layla, Sami, Hana, I will never stop fighting for a world where children can laugh without fear.
If this story moved you, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Leave a comment below and tell me how you're bringing hope into your own life, no matter the obstacles. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to MGS Stories. My name is Sunny Rahman, and here we bring wisdom to fuel your modern-day journey. Remember, even in the darkest times, a single act of courage can light the way for countless others.